I being told off now? What should I, oh, I'm being told off now. This is quite a fun way to travel. Hello and welcome back to my channel. You join me at the start of my summer holiday in London. And the weather, well, there's no sun at all. It absolutely chucked it down last night. And I'm a bit concerned that on the forecast for today, because it's also forecast more rain across this road. But I'm going to try and make the most of today, and I got absolutely no idea where I'm going or what I'm going to do. But I think I'm going to walk down the south bank, and then if it starts to rain I can dive into a museum or a pub or something and shelter from the rain. So it's the first time I've made a video where I really don't know what I'm going to make the video about. But like all my videos, there will be a little mini adventure, and I'm sure we'll find something of interest to do, whether it rains or not. But I've just left my Airbnb accommodation. Now I do like Airbnb, they're absolutely brilliant, and I found a gem of an Airbnb place today. It's above a pub. They rent out rooms, and gosh, you get right over there. They rent out rooms, and it's really rather nice there. I haven't stayed in a pub at all. I've stayed in all sorts of places with Airbnb, private houses, guest houses, little flats, apartments, but I never stayed in a little room in a pub, and it's really rather nice. So hopefully I'm going to find a few more interesting Airbnb places. I really like Airbnb. They haven't paid me to say that. They're actually my own personal thoughts. But I'm heading down to, you know something, I haven't a clue where I'm heading. Waterloo station's just up ahead, I think. So I'm going to head up there, head towards the London Eye, and then walk along the south bank of the Thames and see what we can discover. This is going to be fun. Just stopped at this delightful little cafe for some breakfast. Wasn't sure what I wanted to order, but I found a breakfast bap, and it looks quite a challenge to eat. There we go. Ooh. That really is rather nice. I do like breakfast, it's one of the best meals of the day. And so is lunch and tea and afternoon snacks as well. I'm quite partial to afternoon snacks. But this is absolutely wonderful. I can see myself coming here again. I'm here in London for a few days, so I don't know what I'm going to get up to or what I'm going to do. But with a good cafe on my doorstep, it'd be silly not to use it. I did fancy the big fryer, but I think that knowing all the street food kiosks just along the south bank, I can see myself sampling local foods and well, not local foods, but all the travelling kiosks and things and markets, foreign foods, curries, Mexican, Caribbean. They all seem to be have their own little kiosks along the south bank. I did pass a few yesterday as I just breezed past on my way to my Airbnb accommodation. But I'm going to finish my breakfast. And, well, I say breakfast, it is breakfast, but I also got a custard tart as well. It looks so delightful there on the in the display cabinet that it'd be silly not to try one. They are my favourite thing of all time, custard tarts. So. Just come out of the cafe. It's starting to rain, so I've got the umbrella up. Rather difficult to film with an umbrella up in one hand and a camera in another. I had this problem in Trieste last year. I got absolutely drenched. I'm really hoping that history doesn't repeat itself today. I'm going to head down now towards Waterloo station and try and find some dry, and on the way to Jubilee Gardens and the London Eye. Took a little shortcut through Waterloo station. It's bustling in there with people. Not sure where they're all going, but it's a lot of people milling around there. But the weather's dried up a little bit. It stopped raining, so that's a bonus. It's a bonus for the day. It stopped raining. But I found this delightful little pedestrianised gardens. Whenever I drive through central London, it's usually on a main road. I never venture down the back streets, and I never venture where you can't get a car. And to walk somewhere, little gardens like that, is quite delightful, even on a cloudy, overcast day. Wow, there's the London Eye. I don't suppose for a minute it's open. Nothing seems to be open in London. It's COVID. COVID this, COVID that, restrictions. Dear oh dear. Gosh, I've got a road to cross now. Gotta cross that road, my gosh. Another little tree-lined avenue. How delightful. Wow. London's throwing out quite a few little surprises this morning. Quite a few little surprises, wow. Anyway, let's, now that we're here at the start of my intended little walk along the South Bank, I'm gonna head east down towards the Tower of London and Tower Bridge. But yeah, looking at the, it's closed, yeah. London Eye is closed. That's a shame. I've always wanted to go on the London Eye. I quite like Ferris wheels. Enjoyed a ride on a really enjoyable little Ferris wheel in Clacton the other week. But yeah, this one is closed. And I don't know when it's going to open. Probably after the restrictions end in a few weeks' time. Oh, and it started raining again. I think this is going to happen all day. Bit of rain, bit of not, and a bit of rain again. Oh well. Not trusting the weather at the moment, so I think I'm going to take one of these Uber boats down to Bankside Pier and then resume my walk from there. It's the first time I've taken one of these Uber boats, so I'm not sure what to expect, but we'll soon find out. I've seen these boats travelling up and down the Thames so often that I've never actually been on one, so I think it's time I did. I haven't done a boat trip on the Thames for I think about 30 years. I went down to Greenwich with my grandfather. Gosh, doesn't time fly? But apparently I can use my Oyster card. So I just tap with my Oyster card and I can go down to the next pier, which is Bankside. So all I do is now is wait for the Uber to turn up. This is going to be fun. Apparently the next boat's in about 10-15 minutes. But at least I'm in the dry here and slightly out of the wind. And that has to be a bit of a bonus, I think. But looking at the sky, it's over towards the Houses of Parliament. It looks as though it's the weather's beginning to clear up a little bit. I sincerely hope that's the case, because I don't want to really be rushing for my umbrella every 5 minutes. But anyway, let's wait for this Uber. I'm enjoying London. It's great fun here. Imagine commuting to work up and down the Thames, but I know people who do. And I can see sitting here in the morning with your morning coffee and a sandwich on a boat trip down the Thames. Yeah, that's quite a nice way to commute, I think. Much better than going by bus or underground. It also saved my legs as well. Got me out the wind and the rain. But the sun has come out, which is brilliant. Oh, there I am. All gone dark for a moment. Gone for a bridge. But yeah, this is. Hopefully the sun will stay out for the rest of the day. And I can do some outdoor things, whatever those things may be.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be arriving at Bankside Pier. Any passengers for Bankside, please disembark using the front of the boat. That will be the front for Bankside. Thank you.
That's my stop, Bankside, next to the old Bankside power station, which is now, of course, the Tate Modern Gallery. Absolutely, yeah. Get a good view of it from the Thames. Power station was designed by Sir Giles Gilbert Scott. It was built in 2 stages between 1947 and 1963, finally closed in 1981. But Sir Giles Gilbert Scott is also famous for designing the red telephone
Passengers
box,
will exit at the front of the boat.
which you see all over London. And this is my stop outside the Globe Theatre on Bankside. Now it's time to go and explore. Well, that was absolutely brilliant. £7.30 up from one pier to the next. Absolutely brilliant. Wow. I haven't been on a turbo cat since I crossed from Hong Kong to Macau back in 1998. I must find some more of these vessels around the world and travel on them. They're absolutely brilliant. But now, where am I? Oh yes, I'm outside the Globe Theatre. Oh wow, there we go. Wow, so there we go, outside Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, or the modern reproduction of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. The original was built here in 1599. It burnt down in 1613. Was rebuilt in 1614, but finally closed in 1644. And this replica was opened in 1997. And the first performance there was Henry V. One of my favourite Shakespearean plays. I like the historical ones, Henry IV Part 1, Part 2 and Henry V. I think they are my favourite Shakespeare plays. But I grew up reading Chaucer, not Shakespeare, so I'm a little biased towards the works of Geoffrey Chaucer, especially his Canterbury Tales and the Miller's Tale. There's always a naughty miller there somewhere, isn't there? But now I'm going to walk down, further down the south bank of the Thames towards Tower Bridge and the Tower of London and see what we can discover. And the weather is holding. There's still some blue patches of sun coming through, so I'm really optimistic that the day is going to get a little better. Didn't start out too well with the weather, but it did start well because of breakfast and a ride on a catamaran down the Thames. How fantastic! So let's see what else we can find. Just up ahead is the Anchor pub. There's been a pub here for several hundred years, and it's had some notable visitors as well. Samuel Pepys used to drink in here, the famous diarist, along with Dr. Johnson, who wrote the first dictionary, and David Garrick, the actor and playwright. He also frequented there a few times, along with Tom Cruise, who filmed a segment for Mission Impossible. I think it was the first Mission Impossible film, sitting outside, I think, at the end sequence. But it's featured in numerous films and televisions adaptations over the years, and it's quite a landmark pub to visit. But just up ahead of me is the Clink Prison, the site of London's oldest prison, and the prison which gave its name to being in the Clink. So if you were in the Clink, you were in prison. So no matter what prison you were in, you were said to be in Clink. And it's named after the Clink Museum, or Clink Prison, which is now a museum. Let's go in and take a look. Wow, the Clink Prison was absolutely amazing. So many gruesome displays in there, and so much history as well about all those who were condemned or spent time in the prison. It was operated by the bishops of Winchester from 1151 until 1780. But it's just brilliant in there, and well worth a visit. But just up here is the former palace, which was used by the bishops of Winchester. The palace was founded in 1136 and burnt down in 1813 and has never been rebuilt. There's been a ruin ever since. The oval window at the top was probably added a little later, around the 14th century, but it's still, as a ruin, it's still really impressive. Just up ahead is a replica of Sir Francis Drake's galleon called the Golden Hind. He circumnavigated the world between 1557 and 1580. This replica was manufactured in 1973. And it's been to a few places around the world, Japan and San Francisco.
But it's while I was in Japan, it featured in the mini-series called Shogun, which I think was shown in the early 1980s. And the Golden Hind doubled as the Erasmus, the Portuguese ship that featured in the story. Wow, walking around here, there's so many food stalls selling everything from meats and chickens and to nuts and cakes, hot food and fruit and vegetables. And the aroma that's in the air really is absolutely wonderful. My goodness me, it's making me hungry, but I'm not hungry, I'm still full from breakfast. There's a fish stand there as well. My goodness me. I'm gonna get something to drink, some mango juice, watermelon juice, exotic smoothies.
Take 2 apple juice, please. Yeah.
Have a cranberry, please. How much are they? £3, okay.
Cash or card?
I'll just give you the cash, I've got it here, so lovely, thank you. Let's grab this one. I just bought some cranberry juice. I absolutely love cranberry juice. Feeling a bit thirsty as well. Hello. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for.
You know the area where I can sit down?
I'm just going to stand actually, but thank you. Yes, lovely. Yeah. Yeah. I tend to, if I sit down, you see, I tend not to get up. That's my problem. It's lovely. Throw that in the bin. Right, gosh, here we go. Oh, that's really refreshing. Cranberry juice is supposed to be so good for you as well. Wow. That really is tangy, really is refreshing. So it was only £3, but it seems expensive. But it's really tasty. So I suppose when you're on a holiday, you do spend money on these things when you're on a holiday, don't you? But you don't get this. I don't get this back home. You get a carton in the supermarket, but it doesn't taste like this. This is freshly squeezed. It's got very fresh taste about it. It's absolutely lovely. I've done so much talking today. It's nice to sort of wet the throat with some liquid. Gosh. Not sure whether I get anything to eat here or not. I might get something for later. I did pass at a stall that sold some fresh nuts, so I might go back and buy those. But yeah, really nice, really nice. That was good. Let's put this in the bin. Cycle it. Very into recycling at the moment. My weekly bins at home. Try and do my bit for the environment. But yeah, absolutely lovely. Wow. I'm almost lost for words without repeating myself. It's bustling here, there's so much activity. People are buying things, and people are eating things, and people are drinking things. There's even some people having a business meeting as well, whilst eating their street food. That's absolutely wonderful. Markets are so exciting, and you don't get markets like this in an ordinary town. There's just a few stalls on the side of the street. But an organised market like this really is quite something. And there's such a great setting, the old Victorian architecture here as well. It's really is, yeah, very pleasant indeed. Very interesting. Go back to that stall that I found earlier and buy some of those nuts. They do look rather tasty. Hello, I'm going to have one of these, I think. Sorry? That's it, thank you, yes. I've got the cash, so I'll give you the cash. Yeah, lovely. Oh dear. Right, thank you, lovely. Just put one of them in my bag. Okay, thank you, it's lovely. What were they? Cob nuts, yes, Kentish roasted cob nuts. I'll have a little beer later and I'll have them with that. I think they'd be rather nice. No? Am I being told off now? What should I, oh, I'm being told off now.
Can you take a little bit spicy?
They take spicy, do they? Oh, let's try one. Okay, thank you. Oh, they're nice, aren't they? I'll have to come back another day and buy some more. Oh, lovely, thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Yeah, they're nice. Cob nuts. Spicy cob nuts. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, very nice indeed. Wow. Well, I really enjoyed my time walking around Borough Market. Really was quite exciting as markets go. There's just so much there. But just up ahead of me is a pub called the Globe Tavern. It was built in 1872 and designed by the architect Henry Jarvis. But it's also the location of one of the Bridget Jones films, because the little black door on the side used to lead up to Bridget Jones's flat in the film. It doesn't in reality, because it's only a film location, but that's where the setting was, in and around Borough Market, and that door there. Just heading down Tooley Street, next to London Bridge Station. There used to be the London Dungeons down here. London Dungeons opened in 1974 as sort of a House of Horrors attraction. And it closed in 2013 and relocated to the County Hall, which is next to the London Eye. I remember coming here with a school trip in the late 70s. It's quite an interesting, exhibit, rather dated by today's, by other attractions today, but it's very basic. I remember going through there. It's just a basic House of Horrors and a few. Sorry, chap on a wheelchair there. Gosh. Yeah, it was very basic. Of horror stories of executions and torture, etc. But it's all been changed now because they've made way for the the Thames Link programme. So they've remodified the station to accommodate the new lines. It's all changed down here. Not that I remember too much of it from my visit down here in the 1970s. It's all been redeveloped. more modern office buildings between Tooley Street and the River Thames. I'm not sure where I'm going. London Bridge City Pier, there we go. I like the way they've done some of these more modern buildings, keeping little courtyards and the old style lamps as well, in tune with days gone past. I've been so lucky with the weather today. It rained while I was inside Borough Market. It's a bit fortunate there, didn't get wet. But I got a feeling I'm going to get absolutely drenched very shortly. Let's head up there now. Oh, there we go. There's the Thames. There we go. Wow. There we go, right on the Thames. Hayes Galleria. Oh, it's undercover now as well. That's quite nice. The thoroughfare I'm on, this walkway, it's called the Queen's Walk. And it was opened by Her Majesty back in 1994. Oh, and it started raining again. Oh dear. Let's head into the Galleria and have a look. Well, this is nice. Bit of a building site, building a bar or something, but I spot a rather interesting sculpture up ahead. Let's go and take a look at that. Wow. Let's have a look. Victorian architecture here is, the roof is really rather something, really rather special. Gosh. Cast iron oval beams, maybe girders, with glass on the top. Oh wow. That's quite an interesting sculpture. It's called the Navigator. But it's a strange vessel. Looks like a cross between a Greek vessel, Greek boat at the front, and a pirate ship. Looks rather fun. Wow. Now, if it hadn't have been raining, I'd never have come in here, and I wouldn't have seen it. So I suppose that's one benefit of it raining, forcing me indoors. Let's head back up to Queen's Walk and continue my walk down towards Tower Bridge. I had to wait in the Galleria for about 20 minutes while it stopped raining. Finally, there's a bit of brightness in the sky. But I'm just heading down towards H.M.S. Belfast, and she looks absolutely impressive, just moored up here on the Thames. It's only when you get close to her that you really appreciate her size. She was built by the Harland and Wolff Company in Belfast back in 1936. Now that's the same shipyard that made RMS Titanic. She was launched on St. Patrick's Day by a lady called Anne Chamberlain, and she was the wife of the then Prime Minister, Mr. Neville Chamberlain. She saw active service all the way through World War II and through the Korean War of 1950-1952. But it's her exploits during World War II that made her famous. She took part in Operation Tungsten. Now this was the naval operation to sink Germany's largest battleship, the Tirpitz. And they did. Because of her illustrious past. She's been moored up on the Thames here since 1968. And what a great place to moor up permanently. I'm quite surprised actually that other ships, decommissioned ships, haven't been moored up. I know a few years ago H.M.S. Ark Royal, the aircraft carrier, was decommissioned, and she sailed to the Falklands in the 81, and she could quite easily have been turned into a floating museum. I guess there are reasons why she wasn't, but it's a shame. She's owned by the Imperial War Museum. They have a huge museum down near Waterloo, and also up in Cambridge at Duxford. massive aircraft museum up there. Really are well worth the visits. They haven't paid me to say that. I've been to all of their sites in the past, and they are absolutely superb. And just up here is Tower Bridge, one of the most iconic bridges in the whole world, designed by Sir Horace Jones. And when he died, George D. Stephenson took over, and it was Stephenson who was responsible for the ornate cladding stonework on the outside, because Horace Jones was just going to have an ordinary brick-built bridge, and Jones thought that ornate stonework would be a lot better. And he was right, because the outside actually complements the Tower of London, which is just next door, really rather well. But there we go. Right, it's just started raining again, and I'm going to head back onto an Uber boat and head back up to the London Eye at Waterloo, where I started my trip this morning. Thank you so much for watching what's turned out to be a day where I didn't know where I was going. Turned out to be rather a fun day and an exciting day as well, despite the weather. But this is where I end this video. Thank you so much for watching, and look forward to seeing you next time for another little adventure.